Get the hell away from my aircraft. The pilot plants himself on the stairs like a bouncer at a bad bar, Miami sun flashing off the fuselage, security hovering. A baggage kid tilting his phone for the money shot. I don't care what kind of cleaning crew or assistant you claim to be. Nobody authorized any staff today, especially not. He doesn't finish. He doesn't have to. The pause does the dirty work. And for a split second, the metal step shivers under my heel, and my heartbeat is the only thing I can hear. My name is Diana Wilson, owner of the Gulfstream with my company's tail number on it, CEO of Wilson Innovations, third black woman in America to break the billionaire ceiling, and on that tarmac. With strangers staring like I've wandered onto the wrong set, I say it calmly. I show my ID. I ask him to check the manifest. He laughs, actually laughs. Sure, and I'm Jeff Bezos. Yeah, that happened. You know what I mean? Let me back up a sec, because moments like that don't just appear out of nowhere. They're the end of a fuse you didn't notice burning. 24 hours earlier, I'm in my Manhattan office, late sun on the glass, asking Emma, 5 years at my right hand, where we stand on the Westlake acquisition. Seattle's in, Chicago's skittish. The CEO wants to feel me in the room. Book the jet, I say. Our regular captain has a family emergency, she adds. The replacement is Captain James Sullivan, 20 years of commercial before moving to private aviation. Fine. 5 a.m. car. File the brief. Keep the Seattle board in the room long enough for me to land and look them in the eyes. Teterboro next morning smells like fuel and momentum. Sullivan gives us the quick once-over some men still do. Polite mouth, measuring eyes. Is Mr. Wilson joining us? He asks. I give the practice smile with its own muscle memory. No, Captain, I am Ms. Wilson, and he nods. Already turning back to the checklist. We fly west. Seattle greets us with rain and a call from Marcus Hayes. Chicago is threatening to bolt unless we meet immediately. I pivot on the ramp. Tell Emma to refuel and reroute to San Francisco. Sullivan cites procedure, ground crew timing, shift change, no cutting lines. Nothing he says is technically wrong, but the tone says I'm not a priority. 90 minutes later, we're wheels up, and by midnight, I'm clinking glasses in a windowless conference room because the deal is saved, signatures down. Future secure. Red eye home. 2 hours of sleep. And the next afternoon, I'm in Miami for our quarterly campus visit. The lab tour, the engineers with bright eyes. That rush when an idea becomes equipment you can touch. Storm cells are building on the horizon. Dispatch suggests 6 p.m. I push to 7:30 to finish with the team. At the private terminal. Rain needles the pavement, and Sullivan is already at the counter. Uniform rumpled, movements just a shade off tempo. I step closer and catch it. Faint, but not faint enough. Captain, may I speak with you privately? We step aside. I keep my voice low. Have you been drinking? His face hardens. That's an offensive accusation. It's a safety question, I say. And tonight I'm responsible for everyone who steps on that aircraft. He claims 1 drink at lunch, hours ago. I've hired pilots for 20 years. I know what I'm seeing. I tell him we'll request a replacement. This is my flight deck, my decision, he snaps. I remind him, my aircraft, my responsibility. He laughs without humor. Throws a line about tech millionaires buying licenses, not earning them. And when I turn to notify Jet Elite, he raises his voice so the room hears it. Weather's bad anyway. Good luck finding someone who jumps when I snap my fingers. Emma slides to my shoulder like a sea wall, steady, unmovable. I file the report, arrange hotel rooms. And we wait out lightning that makes the whole field flicker like a broken film. I call my son to say I might miss our essay session. He sighs, then tells me he'll wait up anyway. That's the cost you don't see on headlines. Time you don't get back. Morning breaks clean. The terminal staff are all apologies, and Captain Michael Reynolds is waiting at the stairs, silver hair. Crisp uniform, that quiet gravity professionals carry. My condolences about your father, I say, because we were told that's why he was off. He frowns. My father passed 20 years ago, Ms. Wilson. I've been on vacation. And something locks into place in my head. The delays, the tone, the way the schedule had orbited Sullivan like it owed him. We climb, we level off. And I ask Reynolds to join me when he's able. Here's your twist. Sullivan was never officially assigned to my aircraft. He was still in evaluation, missing the specialized private aviation checkouts. He accessed the scheduling system, slotted himself onto my flights, and told whoever asked that Reynolds was unavailable. He took my jet the way some people take credit, quietly, then absolutely. By the time we touched down at Teterboro, Jet Elite has terminated him and notified the FAA. Management promises a full audit, new permissions, locks on every door that used to be a curtain. By noon, I'm back at headquarters, defending an integration timeline that's aggressive and still right. The questions are pointed. The subtext is familiar. I answer with receipts and clarity. No apology for the space I occupy. Afterward, my CFO asks if I'm okay. I tell him the truth. This is not new. It's simply louder. If I stopped moving every time someone questioned my right to be here, I'd still be in my parents' garage. On the ride home, an email finds me. Melissa Sullivan, Georgetown Law, says she studied my career in ethics, that she's horrified by her father's behavior, that he's been drowning since her mother died and refusing help. She isn't asking for forgiveness. She's offering context, respect, and a simple wish that I won't let his choices dent my resolve. I reply that responsibility belongs to the actor, not the child, that inclusive industries don't build themselves, that I hope he finds a program that sticks, and that we need ethical lawyers as much as secure code. 2 hours later, a baggage area clip of the Miami confrontation hits social media. The angles are unflattering, for him, for me, for the whole idea that professionalism is a shield, but that isn't the point. The point is the pattern. 3 months pass. Westlake becomes Wilson, Seattle. The quantum team stabilizes room temperature entanglement, and my lead engineer grins like he can see the next decade. I say yes to a Women in Business symposium at Georgetown, not to rehash the incident, but to talk about navigating rooms that weren't built for you and why persistence beats perfection every time. In the back row, a familiar face sits smaller than I remember. Afterward, he waits. No captain now, just James, 90 days sober, hands steady, voice careful. He apologizes without asking for absolution. I offer none. Change is proof, I tell him, not a performance. He nods and thanks me for not holding his failure against his daughter, and that, more than anything, tells me he might make it. Back to the image everybody remembers. The pilot at the stairs, the woman he tried to shrink, and what you don't see is the network that held me steady. Emma with the quiet competence of a first-class XO. Sophie in the cabin, cool and precise no matter the noise outside. Reynolds landing us with the touch of someone who respects air and weight and responsibility. Thomas, my driver, who kept his nephew's resume in the glove box because he knew I'd ask. I didn't win that morning by outshouting anyone. I won by refusing to outsource judgment, by trusting the checklist I've lived for 30 years, acknowledge the barrier, find the path, keep moving. So here's your satisfying ending. I'm still flying, with Reynolds at the controls and my tail number catching first light over the Hudson. The deal closed. The lab is hiring. My son got into Columbia and still argues with me about commas. Jet Elite rewrote protocols because one woman refused to pretend a bad feeling was fine. And here's your open window, the part where I say it doesn't end. Tomorrow there'll be another room, another assumption, another small shove that says, not you, not here. And I'll do what I always do, walk forward anyway, invite the facts in, keep my hand steady on the rail. Because the next time a woman, any woman, walks up the stairs to the plane she owns, I want the only things that matter to be the manifest and the math, not the story someone thinks they already know. Maybe you'd have handled Miami differently, kept quiet to get wheels up faster, or gone nuclear and burned the partnership to the ground. Tell me. Yeah, really tell me. If this hit you in the gut or the throat or the memory, share it. Because every time we say it out loud, we tighten the bolts on a system that should have been tight all along. We make it a little harder for contempt to pass as protocol, and a little easier for the right person to be recognized at the stairs. If you're still with me, I want your take. What was right? What was wrong? Where you draw the hard lines. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Subscribe if you want more stories told straight from the room where it happened. And keep the conversation honest, because justice isn't a speech, it's practice, and practice is what we do, one decision, one flight, one stubborn, hopeful day at a time.